Since the beginning of time, love has been the only universal truth. Such is its power over mankind that it has filled myth, legend, and dream. It is a lifelong quest that even death dare not conquer. In the land below the wind, 8 degrees north of the equator, there was a love so pure it was immortalized in stone. Today, this stone, said to be the body of a woman, stands over all of Borneo as if to recount her story. Once there was a young woman who held in her heart a love so infinite and commanding that it drove her to scale the region's highest mountain to wait for her husband to return from China. At its peak, she watched the sea, hoping that his ship would appear in the horizon. Despite extreme cold and exhaustion, she endured each step to the mountaintop every day for many years. Here she lived and died for love alone. The spirit of the mountain, deeply moved by the love of this woman, turned her body into stone. It faces the South China Sea so that she could forever wait for her beloved. She was known to the natives only as Kinabalu, or the Chinese widow. From this, the mountain and the city below take their names. Kota Kinabalu, the capital city of Sabah, the Malaysian Borneo, has fallen in total surrender to the spell of the widow. Its own saga of love, pain, and deliverance begins in the late 1800s, when the British, enthralled by the beauty of the island, established a small but thriving community. They called it Jesselton, after Charles Jessel, the vice chairman of the British North Borneo Chartered Company. World War II broke out, obliterating the entire city, leaving nothing but a promise of rebirth. In 1946, North Borneo became a British Crown colony. Jesselton was selected as the new capital, replacing battle-torn Sandakan. Slowly, a new city rose from the ashes and took on its rightful name, Kota Kinabalu, the City of Widows. There are remnants of Kota Kinabalu's colonial and tribal past that call out to be discovered by kindred spirits. Much can be found in the Sabah Museum. The Sabah Tourism Building is a direct link to life before the Second World War. Built in 1916, it is one of the only 3 edifices that withstood destruction. Everything moves and grows and passes with the steady tick of the nearly 100-year-old Atkinson Clock Tower. It was built in memory of Francis George Atkinson, who served as the first district officer of Jesselton. Kota Kinabalu, now called KK by modern Sabahans, owes much of what it is today to the unyielding spirit of one of its forefathers, Tun Datu Haji Mustafa bin Datu Harun, a World War II freedom fighter and Sabah's first head of state. He led Sabah into the Union of Malaysia. An architectural masterpiece is now named after him, the Menara Tun Mustafa, a 30-story single-column, circular glass building that embraces the hues of the sky and the ambition of a people. Manifesting that ambition is the 999-acre University of Malaysia Sabah, bastion of research and education in the humanities and sciences that include biotechnology, business, and economics. KK has acquired a great symbiosis of cultures. It is alive in the places of worship that welcome all in good faith. The Sacred Heart Cathedral, founded by the Mill Hill brothers, serves the Christian community. Not far away, the solemn prayer calls from the Sabah State Mosque are entrancing. So is its illustrious architecture. A 215-foot minaret reaches out to the sky, giving prominence to a massive golden dome surrounded by 16 smaller ones. A larger, equally beautiful mosque is located in Likas Bay. Appearing weightless above water, the Kota Kinabalu City Mosque can fit 12,000 devotees. Along the reclaimed area of Likas Bay, strolling, fishing, and camping by the sea are as common as the traffic running parallel to it. The tourist menu in Kota Kinabalu is full to the brim with exotic ways to experience the best of nature and local color, coupled with diverse cuisine, shopping, and nightlife. Before losing oneself in the warm, perpetual summers of this paradise, choose and get settled in any of its hotels and dwellings. Go all-out tropical in one of the many facilities managed by the Sotera Harbor. A few minutes from the city center, their high-end resort houses the Sotera Harbor Golf and Country Club, the Sotera Harbor Marina and Yacht Club, and 2 5-star hotels, the Pacific Sotera and the Magellan Sotera and Spa Resort. There are very inviting ways to experience colonial Sabah without leaving the city center. Travel back in time in the Jesselton Hotel. It is the oldest in the city and has attracted many visiting dignitaries since its early days. The budget-conscious may venture on a few blocks away to the Australia Place, campsite of the Australian Liberation Forces in 1945. It is now dotted with print shops and backpackers' hostels offering accommodations from 20 to 40 Malaysian ringgit. But modern-day Kota Kinabalu is embodied by the Grand Borneo Hotel. Just 7 kilometers from the city center, this boutique hotel integrated within the One Borneo Hypermall has 325 well-appointed rooms, 9 of which are executive suites. Amenities include a swimming pool, gym, bar, restaurant, function rooms, business facilities, and the Borneo Privilege Lounge. Kota Kinabalu has everything to gratify a shopper on the loose. Numerous malls carry a wide selection of designer apparel, electronics, and all else that is required for retail therapy. The search for Southeast Asian flavor will take one to places where haggling skills can be put to test. First stop is Pasar Besar, the central market. The hues and shades of this happy culture are found in the bundles of leafy greens, red-hot chili, and mounds of dried food from fish to octopus. The market is open daily from dawn till 5 p.m. Don't forget to say terima kasih or thank you for the discounts you'll get along the dim and narrow alleys of Pasar Kraftangan, right next to the waterfront. There is a boost of energy while going through items that tickle the curious mind. Wood carvings, batik fabric, pearls, and handicrafts. This place is also known as Pasar Filipino, since many of the items sold here come from the nearby islands of the Philippines. A few paces away is Pasar Ikan Masin, where the distinct smell of sea greets you upon entrance. Walk right in and discover the various kinds of dried, salted seafood, a staple in coastal communities around Asia. Want it fresh? Head to the fish market off the regular tourist route, where the day's catch will instantly spark a chef's creative urges. Take a break from all the walking and sample some local munchies at Pasar Buah-Buahan Tempatan. Then quench your thirst the way it's done in the tropics, with sun-kissed skin and fresh coconut in one hand. Right about now, the most romantic spectacle of nature shall take its course. A warm orange glow fills every crevice of Kota Kinabalu as lovers, photographers, and tourists gather at the viewing deck to watch the passionate sun sink into the horizon behind the Tunku Abdul Rahman Marine Park. Some drive to the Tanjung Aru Beach, about 20 minutes from the city center. There are bars and restaurants along the 2-kilometer stretch of fine sand facing the poetic sunset. Linger on and watch time pass you by. A rite of passage and a deeper way of knowing why such great love exists in this place and in the people who call it their home. At night, Kota Kinabalu develops a different charm. Let your instincts guide you through the maze of souvenir items and other novelties at the Kampung Air Night Market near the High Court. Particularly interesting is the small section devoted to dried medicinal plants and concoctions that date back to pre-colonial times. The night market is open from 6 to 9 p.m. daily. The melange of cultures in Kota Kinabalu elevates the gastronomic experience. From fancy eats to hawker selections, the daring palate will have plenty to devour in the eateries and restaurants that serve traditional Malay, Indian, Thai, and Chinese cuisine. The Sinsuran Night Market offers a proper introduction to a typical seaside banquet. Wander around the rows of fresh produce from all over Sabah and walk through the rising smoke from barbecue kiosks. Take your pick from a wide selection of seafood, then onto the grill they go. While in Kota Kinabalu, it would be a sin not to have a hefty serving of the Sabah vegetable dish. This subtle and crispy green is best paired with fried soft-shell crab, chicken wrapped in fragrant pandan leaves, and steamed seafood. Have everything on the wish list, peppered with homegrown entertainment at the Kampung Nelayan Floating Restaurant. There is a nightly show featuring the ancient traditions of the different tribes of Sabah. After dinner, drinks are a must on this island. And for this purpose, there are countless bars located along the waterfront and Warisan Square. Here, Asian bands dominate the scene. Party till the wee hours of the morning at the chic and sassy Bed Bar, or grab a cold one at Cock and Bull, where the atmosphere is sporty and laid back. While so much can be found in the city, it is but a jump-off point to bolder adventures. Hop on a speedboat for a 15-minute cruise to the Tunku Abdul Rahman Marine Park across the bay. The park is a cluster of 5 islands: the Palau Gaya, Palau Manukan, Palau Mamutik, Palau Sulug, and Palau Sapi. The calm turquoise waters are perfect for snorkeling, diving, kayaking, and parasailing. Palau Gaya, the largest of the islands, is home to the Marine Ecological Research Center, as well as the upscale Guyana Eco Resort. Less than 5 minutes away is Palau Sapi. Here, the main event is sea walking, a new way of experiencing underwater wonders, even for non-swimmers. Orientation begins on the island, followed by a quick boat trip to an offshore platform. Highly trained guides help you don the Sea Trek underwater helmet diving system, an air-filled helmet that allows submersion up to 15 feet without the burden of a scuba tank. Descend into the blue and interact with rare marine species that swirl around coral gardens on the seabed. It's a quick under-the-sea adventure lasting 20 to 30 minutes. Sea walking rates go from $40 to $80 and come with a certificate and both still and video images taken by its dive staff. Cross over to Palau Manukan for an al fresco banquet of seafood and local cuisine. The rest of the afternoon can be spent snorkeling, sunbathing, kayaking, or just chilling out under the shade of pine trees. Accommodations are provided by the Sutera Sanctuary Lodges to those who choose to spend the night on the island. With newfound bliss, the return trip to Jesselton Point draws back the cosmopolitan vibe. Take the hour-and-a-half trip through scenic country roads leading to the Tamparuli district in the northwestern part of Sabah. Strap on gear and learn the strokes for the white waters of the Kiulu River. The activity is categorized under Class 1 to 2, which makes it suitable for beginners from 5 to 75 years old. The Kiulu River whitewater rafting is a half-day activity, beginning at 8:30 a.m. when the shuttle departs from Kota Kinabalu. There are tour packages that cover everything from air-conditioned transfers to safety equipment and insurances to a barbecue buffet lunch. Save the best for last as you travel to the Kinabalu Park, about 2 hours from KK's city center. The park is Malaysia's first UNESCO World Heritage Site and is one of the most important biological sites on the planet. it will take about a week to unravel some of Asia's greatest natural wonders within this 754 square kilometer sanctuary. There are many hotels and lodging facilities within the park to suit every budget. The Kinabalu Heritage Hotel and Spa offers luxurious rooms and all modern amenities. Rest comfortably in a chalet amidst pine trees and wake up to a grand view of Mount Kinabalu right in front of your porch. Amid a tropical lowland dipterocarp forest, the pouring hot springs near the eastern boundary of the Kinabalu Park brings a spa-like experience. Here, butterflies roam free, feeding on the nectar of wildflowers. Cross the Mamut stream and walk under the shade of bamboo trees, from which Poring takes its name. The cloud of steam signals that one has reached the famed Japanese-style sulfur baths that are known for its healing properties. There is a network of trails to explore in Poring. By far, the most popular is the Poring Canopy Walkway. Traverse the graded path and discover a wondrous variety of vegetation. The Mengares trees, also known as kings of the forest, defy vertical limits. Their dainty leaves and branches form larger-than-life stencils in the sky. And then comes the balancing act along the 158-meter-long bridge, hanging 41 meters above the forest floor. Watch your step and look down if you must. There is a whole new perspective that gives one the feeling of total supremacy over all creations. This activity takes about an hour to complete. Another rare experience may occur within the Poring vicinity. Watch out for signs on the roadside that announce the presence of the queen, the much-celebrated Rafflesia. Reaching over 100 centimeters in diameter, it is the world's largest flower. For less than $2, a Rafflesia grower will take you to the interior to show off his prized possession. This parasitic flower is so rare that it takes only 15 months to bud, with a blooming period of only 7 days. Just when you think that nothing can be more exciting, the Kinabalu Park braces you for the next level. Come face to face with the legendary Mount Kinabalu. At 4,095.2 meters and growing at a rate of 5 millimeters a year, it is the highest in Southeast Asia. About 100,000 years ago, Mount Kinabalu was covered with sheets of ice and glaciers that violently flowed down its slopes, scraping its surface, creating jagged peaks and a 1,800-meter deep gully on its north side. There are 2 trails to the top, the Summit Trail and the Mesilao route. The Summit Trail is popular among first-timers. From the Kinabalu Park headquarters, a shuttle ride takes mountaineers to the Timpohon Gate, where the journey begins with a descent to Carson's Falls. The first leg of the expedition, ending at 3,272.7 meters, takes about 4 to 8 hours, depending on one's pace. The Mesilao route, commencing at the Mesilao Nature Park, is the road less traveled. It is longer and more challenging, and thus requires an above-average fitness level. Scientists and researchers normally opt for this path to study the diverse plant and wildlife in the area. There are no written traffic rules along the trails of Kinabalu. Here, universal courtesies become the law, and everyone seems to be at their best behavior. There is a sense of solidarity and respect among climbers from all parts of the globe. New friendships, mostly unspoken, are built along the way as encouraging smiles and warm greetings are offered in the midst of the chilly atmosphere and thinning air. It is fair game, every man against himself. Thus, each step is a great achievement, bringing the purest feeling of success. Among the steep and winding passages, there are several shelters, or pundok, where climbers, including local porters who scale the mountain daily to deliver heavy loads of food and other supplies, can take a breather and observe the gradual rise in altitude marked by changing ecosystems. The first shelter is Pondok Kandis, followed by Pondok Uba, the halfway point to the summit. The third shelter, Pondoklowi, is characterized by various species of moss, tree ferns, bamboo, and rhododendrons. The area surrounding Pondok Mempening, the fourth shelter, is home to wild begonias and squirrels waiting for leftover food. Less than 200 meters away is Layang Layang, where the summit trail meets the Mesilao Trail. Hike on to the fifth shelter, Pondok Villosa, where a spectacular panorama of blues and greens will blow the exhaustion away. At an elevation of 2,690 meters, the forest becomes even more stunted, but the colors are more vivid. Another steep stretch, negotiating large boulders of rocks, leads to Laban Rata. With an elevation of 3,272.7 meters, it serves as the base camp for climbers and the end of the first stage of the ascent. Celebrate your arrival with your first supper in the mountain. Nature itself brings something more welcoming than a bonfire. A bright salmon sunset that momentarily transforms the place into a patch of heaven. At about 2 o'clock in the morning, the next leg of the trek begins, the ascent to the highest point of Mount Kinabalu. Only the rays of torchlights lead the pilgrims along this treacherous path to the summit. 3 hours later, as the sun rises, final strides are made towards Low's Peak, the very zenith of all Southeast Asia at 4,095.2 meters. The whole of Borneo is spread out below the sky, to be seen only by the worthy few. The descent from Low's Peak is another challenge. It is a race against swirling clouds that can obstruct visibility. Even then, the bolder ones venture through the boulder path, more popular by its Italian name, Via Ferrata. This non-traditional trail embraces the rock face through steel cables, ladders, and rungs. At 3,800 meters above sea level, the world's highest and Asia's first Via Ferrata is operated by Mountain Torque in Kinabalu. Despite the intricacy of the process, it is safe and fully guided. Anyone who is physically fit from ages 10 to 70, including those with little or no climbing experience, can pick from beginner to intermediate routes that are designed to match one's ability and endurance. The climb and descent from Mount Kinabalu normally takes 2 to 3 days. Apart from Laban Rata, Sayat Hut, and Pendant Hut, there are other lodging options in Mount Kinabalu. Be sure to pre-book through the Sabah Park's head office in the Kota Kinabalu city center. On the way back to the city, drop by Kinabalu for some locally made souvenirs that will remind you of the freedom you have earned by scaling the peak. At the far end of the premises, there is a full view of the mountain. As you give it a last good look, know that you have become a part of it, and it has become a part of you. Like Kinabalu, the Chinese widow turned into stone, the spirit of the mountain has cast your name at its summit.